I started to run. When I scope out my country, I walk by a gun. Ole, 'cause that is what they promise we. A lot's going on in the sun. So I come here to bring wisdom, so we don't burn down. We lovely society. See, a new government has the assignment to put we country into alignment. But every time they read us with their ego, it's the vulnerable who feeling that below. Lord, is it ignorance or is it arrogance? I don't know what to call it in this instance. Look at paradise right in front we eyes, but we still want to talk about who we despise.
Tell me where else can we go?
If we start to mash up the good things we know.
Tell me where else can we go?
If we treat we traditions like a Barbie show, you could fix everything on we island. Put gunships on we back like a tyrant. You could put 10 radars all up Scarborough. But don't forget,
this is Trinidad.
We love we freedom, and every citizen will agree that no oppression will be accepted by our Trini. We come from long days on the ground, working hard until daylight come, so we'll see it wrong to be a financial donkey. 'Cause every day we see a new taxation that causing a new kind of sufferation. And when you don't create that irritation, you send police to fix with desperation. Lord, where's the common sense? Where's the true intent to make you think oppression is relevant? Don't be shocked, my friend, when we start to bend and you see them placards in front of the parliament.
Tell me where else can we go?
If we little children are not free to grow.
Tell me where else can we go?
If they try to ban the words in the calypso, you could try to stop social media or the taping of police murders. You could rewrite a bill like this also. But don't forget, this is Trinidad. Take one look around. Even lingo and all could see confusions in tongue. And it's affecting everybody. Politicians and Facebook trolls. Even Kaisonians lost their role. The world's upside down. And I'm worried for my country. 'Cause every day I see victimization, racial and social aberration. We saying is love need to go wrong, but we spreading this thing like a toxin. Man, things getting so tense, some can't pay their rent, and the effect of this feeling permanent. But what scares me though, just so that you know, is the money we about to borrow.
Tell me where else can we go?
If the IMF start to pull we toe.
Tell me where else can we go?
If we toilet paper start to run too low, you could stress out the pepper worker. Take a fool and make him a leader. You could change every board 'cause it's your show. But don't forget, this is Trinidad. I know it's good intentions. We Prime Minister would only cause rebellion in TNT, like what caused Cambule in times of old. And it's so the story unfold. It's that rebellion that give we people identity. So careful how you deal with we intellect, 'cause DNA remembers every aspect. Not every time we cry it's just politics. Your mind could start to play you some dirty tricks. Look, remember that honor comes before minister, and that's why we give you so much power. So don't let us down and don't let us frown. We need to see our 360 turn around.
Tell me where else can we go?
If your promises start to look untrue,
Tell me where else can we go?
if your own voters losing trust in you, you could do what you want with what intent? You could bar talk the independent bench. You could change the country that we once know. But don't forget, this is Trinidad.
The information provided by the speakers and/or presenter on Facebook and YouTube is for general informational purposes only. All information is provided in good faith. However, Constructive Talk makes no representation or warranty of any kind, express or implied, regarding the accuracy, adequacy, validity, reliability, availability, or completeness of this information.
Some say it is that. I go get the facts. Hear me good. We experiencing a global phenomenon with serious issues mankind choose to fool around. Then they go find out facing real consequences. That when you play totish games, you win foolish prizes. The mighty US of A, look how them in disarray, because they forget the first dose of MAGA madness. So with the short-term memory, they welcome back Donald T to give that fascist a second term in office. But after they take the bait and they realize what is the fate, enough of them want to change the vote, but it is too late. You see the F-O, I see the F-A, now they got F-O. Young man, but true, to snap the election fingers fast. Although every poll warn you, that would have be a shock. F-A-F-O. I said the F-A. Now they go F-O. But look, Donald distracting when it's soaking. He naming the Epstein files. So the bankies worried they're voting a presidential pedophile. F-A-F-O. I said the F-A. Now they go F-O. You see when you're ever wrong, there's no doubt. Even Mungo Sam will find out that what's sour in Bam Bam starts sweet in the mouth. Why you shout F-A-F-O? I tell you that is, tell them that is the call. Oh, say, can you see? You see the code? F-A-F-O. Yeah, man. Trin Begonian love all foes, you know that is the truth. So when America Trump, we just follow suit. If them MAGA morons is America's concern, well, we present government is easily their clones. From 2010 to 15, the tenure was so obscene, scandalize the land and destroy the economy. But like we missed the free for all, incompetence and bubble, so we bring them back to finish mash up the country. And as they assume their roles, I set a square peg in wrong holes. Now plenty people who help them win at the polls say the F-A-F-O. That's the F-A-F-O. The two worst Alexanders in the world, Tanti make minister. One is a racist troll and one need a West Indian first primer. F-A-F-O. So the F-A-F-O. Meanwhile, Tanti set up TNT in people war, ship away in place. She should have let the Yankee army put the radar in she pink palace. F-A-F-O. So she F-A, now she go F-O. You see when you're F-A wrong, there's no doubt. Persona non grata must find out that what's sour in Bam Bam starts sweet in she mouth. Sing it out. F-A-F-O. I tell you that is, tell them that is the call. Cause when cold yellow wins, corruption begins. What's the real code? F-A-F-O. Listen good. Maintaining law and order and enforcing justice. That serious mandate falls to the police service. So confidence and respect of the citizenry, it's the only way to do that job effectively, not so? But when you hear politics and policing start to mix, that's when public trust and confidence starts to erode. Especially when the top cop appears to be propping up the lies and propaganda of the government's code. How can the people trust a commissioner who lies to us, who feel he's the punisher with a thesaurus? Well, he F-A-F-O. I can't hear you. F-A-F-O. He went up the young man for true and tell we that the US radar help him to find the drugs in Caroni. The man lying from so far. F-A-F-O. I say he F-A. Now he go F-O. Hear me? Thanks to CCTV, we see police commit cold-blooded murder, but the punisher, that liar, he call it an exchange of gunfire. F-A-F-O. I say he F-A. Now he go F-O. You see when you're F-A wrong, there's no doubt. Even rogue police find out what's sour in Bam Bam starts sweet in the mouth. Sing it out. F-A.
Well, good evening, Trinidad and Tobago. I started off the program this evening with the overhead video of the nurses in Trinidad and Tobago protesting. The nurses in Trinidad and Tobago protesting, and they are protesting for several reasons. I was trying to get on to Mr. Edie Stewart to have him on the program this evening, but most likely I should have him on tomorrow. Please God, I'm going to try again and reach out to him to see if I could have him on tomorrow. Please God. But the nurses and they are protesting. They are protesting for proper wage. And you know what? Before I get into that, I want to send our condolences to the family of that 11-month-old baby and the father who got murdered, brutally murdered this morning. Brutally murdered. A baby and father. Brutally murdered. And it's a sad day in Trinidad and Tobago. You see, we argue and fight and quarrel about a lot of things, eh? But there are some things that you just can't. Come on. I do understand, but let's take a listen to this, Trinidad and Tobago.
An early morning attack in Dundonald Hill, St. James, ended with the death of a 25-year-old man and his infant son. Joseph Sutton and his 11-month-old child, Jaden, were asleep at home when a gunman opened fire through a bedroom window.
It was not the first attempt on his father's life, having survived a shooting just 2 weeks ago. We understand that because of that attack, the Sutton family was contemplating fleeing the area.
But as the family and wider community grieve their murders, residents are now questioning the effectiveness of the ongoing state of emergency. Shane Superville has more.
Instead of planning his first birthday, a Dundonald Hill family is now making funeral arrangements for 11-month-old Jaden Sutton and his father Joseph, who were fatally shot while at their home early on Tuesday morning. Jaden was asleep in the arms of his father when the attack took place just before 1 a.m. Speaking with CNC3 News at the Forensic Science Center, Sutton's common-law wife and Jaden's mother, Leona Allen, recalled the incident when she heard barking from the family's pet dog.
We heard the dogs barking. I was about at 1 so, and I got up to see what it was.
Allen said Sutton survived a shooting on March 16th that left him hospitalized for a week. She said the attack was likely caused by jealousy in the neighborhood towards him and even spoke with him about plans of leaving the community once he was discharged from hospital. She laments that these plans never became a reality.
So we wasn't expecting anybody to swing back to do anything.
I know why that.
Especially take my child also.
Sutton's father, Magnus, said despite appeals for help to the police after his son's last shooting, the family continued to live in fear.
Since all these things going on, we complaining to the police, and the police ain't doing nothing. They do nothing at all. They just come and take the thing and they're gone.
The elder Sutton also said he was deeply hurt by the loss of his grandson, noting that he looked forward to celebrating his first birthday with little Jaden, who he said shared a close bond with everyone in the family.
I really actually knows how to walk and thing, now get 40 in him out. So he knows how to eat plenty and thing and move active and thing.
CNC3 News tried to contact Homeland Security Minister Roger Alexander and Police Commissioner Alistair Guevara, but received no response up to news time. As of Tuesday afternoon, investigators were still trying to confirm a motive for the murders. Shane Superville, CNC3 News.
So that was the sad story today of a baby boy, 11 months, being brutally murdered with his father. A baby boy being brutally murdered today, this morning, with his father. And the question is still remain, we are under an SOE. And I want to talk about this SOE a little bit. I'll tell you why I want to talk about this SOE a little bit, right? I'm going to talk about this SOE. So, we are under an SOE. We are under an SOE. And, you know, the church wanted to have a gospel concert outside the church. Right? Outside the four walls of the church, we wanted to put up a song system, have some people come, sing, and rejoice, and preach, and stuff like that, outside of the church doors. Not in a different place, right where the church is, just outside where the car park, put up some speakers. So, something just told me, go and find out from the police if you could do something like that. I said, nah, man, we could do that. That's small thing. That's nothing big. It's nothing, shouldn't be a problem. Just some speakers, microphone, church members, some guests, in the car park. Just sit by the road. That shouldn't be a problem. Yeah? Really? So I went to the San Fernando police station. Met with an officer there. And I asked him, he was very kind and nice. He asked me to come in from behind the glass and come inside and sit with him. And I said, well, yeah, I'm pastor. We want to have an event, Glorious Saturday, outside the church. We're not marching or anything. We're just outside the church and we want to have an event. The man said to me, no, you can't do that. You can't do that just like that. We are under an SOE. And when you are under an SOE, there is certain restrictions. I said, serious? He said, yes, Pastor, you didn't know that? I said, no, I didn't know. I wasn't aware that as a church, if we want to have an event outside in the car park of the church, we need to have permission to do it. He said, well, yeah, you have to have permission. You can't do something like that just like that, Pastor. So what you have to do, you have to write a letter to us, letting us know that you're going to have this event outside of the church on Saturday. And we will have to review it. You have to give us an estimate of how much people would be there. And I'm like, what? You serious? He said, yes. I said, okay. So I said, so I have to write a letter. He said, where the church is? And I told him, he said, well, no, you are out of our district. You are out of our jurisdiction. So you have to go Marabella. I said, okay. And get the permission to host that event. I said, wow. He said, but I'm telling you now, no, Pastor, you mightn't get through. I said, why? He said, no. We according to the dynamics of where the place, where you tell me the churches and what, right now, we kind of cooling down and that kind of. I said, what? I said, serious? I said, yeah. I said, wow. So, I was really taken aback. Really taken aback. Because last night I played for you what the commissioner had to say to Baptists. So I'm confused. But, again, Trinidad and Tobago, people voted for that. There are some church pastors I know who voted for that. There are some church pastors I know didn't even vote. They don't care to vote. So, I'm going to play for you again. And again, good evening to those of you joining me on Constructive Talk, wherever in the world that you're touching base with me. Just let me know and type in, hey, Pastor Google, I'm watching you. Somebody said, good evening, Pastor Google, Barataria in the house. And on the chat. So we have Mr. Bill. I don't know if it's a Mr. or Mrs. Barataria on the chat. So if you are from San Fernando, just let me know where in San Fernando you are looking at me from. If you are from Princestown, Miaro, New Grant, El Socorro, Grandi, Toko, Tigo Martin, Point 14, Ikakas, where in the world you're looking at me, just type it in the chat and let me know where you're looking at me from. Again, I appreciate all of you. I met a lady today. She said, hey, Pastor Google. And she lives where? Crossing. I mean, say good evening to her. Thank you very much for locking on to Constructive Talk this evening. So yeah, I didn't know that you cannot have an open air church meeting outside your church. We're not going to have this somewhere far, or somewhere in a car park, somewhere we have it in the car park, in the church, outside the church. And the police said to us, nope, you cannot have that event. Interesting. Take a listen to this.
An early morning attack in Dundonald Hill, St. James, ended with the death of a 25-year-old man and his infant son. Joseph Sutton and his 11-month-old child, Jaden, were asleep at home when a gunman opened fire through a bedroom window.
It was not the first attempt on his father's life, having survived a shooting just 2 weeks ago. We understand that because of that attack, the Sutton family was contemplating fleeing the area.
But as the family and wider community grieve their murders, residents are now questioning the effectiveness of the ongoing state of emergency. Shane Superville has more.
Instead of planning his first birthday, a Dundonald Hill family is now making funeral arrangements for 11-month-old Jaden Sutton and his father Joseph, who were fatally shot while at their home early on Tuesday morning. Jaden was asleep in the arms of his father when the attack took place just before 1 a.m. Speaking with CNC3 News at the Forensic Science Center, Sutton's common-law wife and Jaden's mother, Leona Allen, recalled the incident when she heard barking from the family's pet dog.
We heard the dogs barking. I was about at 1 so, and I got up to see what it was.
Allen said Sutton survived a shooting on March 16th that left him hospitalized for a week. She said the attack was likely caused by jealousy in the neighborhood towards him, and even spoke with him about plans of leaving the community once he was discharged from hospital. She laments that these plans never became a reality.
So we wasn't expecting him to swing back to do anything.
I know why that.
Especially take my child also.
Sutton's father, Magnus, said despite appeals for help to the police after his son's last shooting, the family continued to live in fear.
Since all these things going on, we complaining to the police, complaining to the police, and the police ain't doing nothing. They do nothing at all. They just come and take the thing and they're gone.
The elder Sutton also said he was deeply hurt by the loss of his grandson, noting that he looked forward to celebrating his first birthday with little Jaden, who he said shared a close bond with everyone in the family.
I really lucky, he knows how to walk and they know get 40 in him out. So he knows how to eat plenty and thing and move active and thing.
CNC3 News tried to contact Homeland Security Minister Roger Alexander and Police Commissioner Alistair Guevara, but received no response up to news time. As of Tuesday afternoon, investigators were still trying to confirm a motive for the murders. Shane Superville, CNC3 News.
Oh, Jesus, in the middle of the night. Oh Lord, when my back against the wall. Hallelujah, Lord Jesus taught me how to pray. Bam, 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 bam. In the middle of the night. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. In the middle. Oh, be bam, bam, be bam, be bam, 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 bam. Oh, come on, come on, come on. Jesus taught me how to pray. Oh, bam, 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 bam. In the middle of the night.
Alright, so I played you that again so that you'll understand that that incident is a tragic one. A tragic incident. Father and baby. You know? But again, we are in a SOE. So even though we're in an SOE and we're telling the church that you can't come out your four walls, we have to give you permission to come out of your four walls and pray. We have to give you permission to come out of your four walls and preach. We have to give you permission to come out of your four walls and praise God. Even in your car park, you can't do that just like that. No, Pastor, we are not SOE. You can't do that. We have to give you permission to do such. And until we give you permission to do such, you stay within your four walls. And the police went as far as to tell me that. He said, Pastor, have it in the church. Have it in the church. You don't need to come out of the church. Stay in the church. So I'm confused because we have an SOE. We have an SOE. A state of emergency. The state of Trinidad and Tobago is under an SOE, a state of an emergency of crime, murder, human trafficking, all the things that consist of crime. We are under a state of emergency. We have an issue in our country. Our country is under siege by criminals. That is what we have been told. And how do we deal with it? By locking down, putting things in place. But people are being murdered. You are seeing where a father and a 11-month-year-old baby was gunned down early this morning while sleeping. Those murderers are cowards. You kill a baby. You kill a father sleeping. Wow. That's interesting. And while people are being slaughtered in their sleep, the church is being told, stay within your four walls. Don't come out in no car park with no speakers and no drum set and no guitar, no keyboard and no microphone to lift up the name of Jesus. No, stay within your four walls. Are we comfortable with that? You comfortable with that? It's interesting. It's interesting. What to do? What to say? How do we move forward as a nation? I don't want to talk yet about anything concerning the nurses, the teachers, NUFGW. Union took over the news tonight. Most of the things that was talked about in the news this evening was about the union. The union got the spotlight of news tonight. Most of the stories was about him. Was about the unions. Most of the stories this evening was about the unions. But I have a story about what's happening the church world is being silent. The church is being silent. Silence. And what do we have to say? Okay. All right. You tell us stay within the four walls of our building and preach, sing, and clap. Hush all your mouth. Don't come outside. Don't you come outside. It's not in your place to come outside. Stay inside. Okay. All right. Okay. And what? It's interesting. It's interesting. What do you think about that, though? What do you think about that? What do you think about the church being told, stay within your four walls, don't come out? We're under SOE. Because if you have to let all you come out, there are strict restrictions to how you all go about doing what you have to do. Strict restrictions. What's your thoughts? 464-7003. 464-7003. What are your thoughts? Coming soon to Constructive Talk Network, Critical Thinkers. It's a youth show with a youth perspective on current affairs and issues in Trinidad and Tobago. Critical Thinkers, youth perspective on Constructive Talk. Yep, it's coming soon. Looking forward to that program, boy. I heard that those youths are getting themselves well organized and well prepared. Hello, good evening. Hold on. Yes, sir.
Yeah, what up? Good night to you on the live and all the other callers. You see, why it is the government say they don't want nobody to come out, right? They're looking at this as an African, the Baptists and them as an African group. You understand? And they believe it to them, they might say that that is a form of protest. You understand? But that can't stop prayers. You see, prayers could move mountains, they could do anything. You understand? The same way the Baptists and them could stay within the four walls of the church and pray and still do the same. You could still get the same results. Because some of them know the power of prayer. Prayer very powerful. Why them looking at the African thing and it might look to them as a form of protest, because the people come and they ring the bell and they singing and that. They look at a form of protest. But that can't stop prayers. That's the same way the Baptists come out on the street and pray and chant. They could stay down in the church and do the same thing and they could still get the same results. You understand what I'm saying? Because prayers will move mountains. You understand? Yeah. You listen to me?
I hear you, sir.
Yeah, so why they might, we as Baptists might disagree with that, you understand? That can have no spiritual effect in terms of what the Baptist community want to achieve. They could stay in the church and preach, and whatever you plead God and go down and sacrifice and ashes and pray for in a sincere and compassionate way, you can get the same results. You understand? They feel that they preventing, they look at that as a form of protest. You understand? And the feel by doing that, you can stifle them, and you understand? But that can't stop spiritual work. Once God goes to kneel and pray and ask God for what you want, you understand? You could get the same results. That you form the fit either form a protesting against the government. They're not protesting against the government. Yeah, the boxes are custom picture of the sidewalk and all that, but it's only because of that, as I said, they want nobody come out, but that can't stop press. That can't stop the people press. That can't stop whoever result the maximum they want to achieve. You understand? That's all I want to say for now. Good, thanks.
Okay, thank you very much. Anybody else have anything else to say? Well, I wasn't talking specifically about the Baptist faith, but the caller called and he was talking about the Baptist faith. I'm talking about, if you're not joining me, I just wanted to hear your views on it. I'm talking specifically about my church applying, or my church. I felt as though I needed to investigate and find out if because based on what I'm seeing happening. So I just said, let me go into the police station and find out about if we have to get permission to be outside in the churchyard to have church. So what we was doing is that we were planning, and we said, okay, we're gonna take the speakers outside, we're gonna take the keyboard outside, the drum kit outside, and everything outside, and have church in the yard. All right? Right? And we decided, okay, we're going to have the church service outside in the churchyard. We apply, we didn't know that we have to apply to have church in the car park. So I went, to San Fernando police station, and I inquired. I said, well, the church want to have a service in the car park. Do we have to have permission? The officer said, yes, Pastor. Pastor, you can't have a church service in the car park like that. We have to know how much people, we are on that SOE. We need to know how much people will be in that car park. We need to know how long the service is going to be, and if it's in the evening time. He said, it's good. That is no, you have to apply for permission. I didn't know that. I didn't know that. So I am asking you guys, what do you all think about that? What are your thoughts about that? Before we move on, I want to move on to the substantial matter, which is today we had a lot of protests. Well, 2 protests. So, what is your thoughts? How you feel about that? How you feel about that? 464-7003. 464-7003. I would like to hear your thoughts on it. All right? I would really like to hear your thoughts on the matter. All right? So you can call me and tell me how you feel about it. Call me and tell me how you feel. If you think that that something about that ain't right, or you think that yeah, that's how it go, Pastor Google. That's how it go. Hello, good evening.
Good evening, Pastor Google. Yeah, Pastor Google.
Yes, sir.
Pastor Google, I annoyed not with the police, not with the church or religion in general. You telling me that you serving God and you have to ask somebody permission to serve God. That's why he is. That way it comes to now. You see, that's why I believe Jesus was a revolutionary. And now I believe what I believe. Because if I serving God and I had to preach, I don't do anything anymore. What about the religion? I don't want part of religion. But if that was my view or my belief, me ask nobody to preach. But if they'll lock me up, they'll lock me up. It's preach, I preach, and that's what I believe. But I'm a bit different. That's why I believe Jesus was a revolutionary. And he could have been locked up for what he believed. People today not willing to go all the way forward. This thing about religion, Pastor Google, I don't want to do a bubble, but you're talking and I get annoyed. Trust me, we are asked for permission to preach, and they have no problem with people killing people. You want to preach God's word, and they are asked for permission, but people are all over the place and got young people. They kill a little baby, 11 months old, and these fellas do have to ask for permission to come out with the AR-15 and gone down 11 months. Oh, well, give me a break now, man. We really, the Twilight Zone we living in, not. People who is Christian or people who any religion have to seek permission from the state to practice the religion, to talk about the God who's supposed to be able to the religious aspect of this life is to keep people in a certain way and they wouldn't involve themselves in crime, because in the main religious people is like that. Whether it be Muslim, Christian, Hindu, wherever. They keep that religion for they keep the people in a certain way, and the state know there is no trust in the state. And you have to ask the state for permission to preach. Something wrong with this place, boy. And something wrong with the church too. Something wrong with preachers. Something wrong with Christianity and any other religion. If it's how it comes to, if it's how that is what it is. Something is totally so people that were willing to die for what they believe in now. I thought the Bible said go into all the world and preach the gospel, because I should do it. Right? When I used to be a Christian, go into all the world. I didn't know the Bible say they had to seek permission from the state to go into all the world and preach the gospel. I mean, I'm listening. I'm not listening. I'm getting upset. I'm listening.
Hello, good evening.
Hello, good night.
Good evening.
I figure that's gonna be why they're doing that. They figure all gonna be disturbing the peace. All gonna be making too much noise. Because remember you're talking about music. The loudness and the noise will have some kind of effect of members of the public that who living around and things now. So the former they all gonna be disturbing the peace. I figure that's why they say they want nobody in church. The level, the noise level and all that will have an effect. So all that is part of it. That's why one of the reasons why they want nobody to come out and play no music and no speaker outside. Okay, thanks.
Okay. All right, so we continue to take your calls. 464-7003. 464-7003. All right, so persons are sharing their views. I'm listening to the views of the callers. One caller said earlier on, one texter said that the reason why I didn't get permission is because they know me. The officer know me. So because the officer know me, that is why, and they know my stand against the government. So they would not give me permission. All right. So I continue to take your calls. In the meanwhile, while I'm taking your calls, I just want to drop this in the mix. I know, not that. Oh gosh, not that. Sorry. Coming soon to Constructive Talk Network, Critical Thinkers. It's a youth show with a youth perspective on current affairs and issues in Trinidad and Tobago. Critical Thinkers, youth perspective on Constructive Talk. Right, so prepare yourself. I'm just giving you all that to hold, you know. Prepare yourselves for the youth program that's coming very, very soon. Very, very soon. So let's jump into the discussion this evening. What I have prepared for us this evening. So, as I said before, the unions and the had a lot to say today. The unions and they were in the news. Yeah, they were in the news a lot today. A lot today. You know, one of the things I looked at in the news today that really jumped out at me was you know, it's important that we keep our eyes on why people are doing what they're doing. Let's take this. Hello, good evening. Hello, good evening. Hello, good evening.
Good evening, sir. You know what that sounded like to me? That sounded like an apartheid system. Because if we wish that a stunt, that sounded like an apartheid system. South Africa move. That's my opinion.
All right. Thank you very much. Because somebody's saying good night. Are they trying to muzzle the church? This country need to hear the word of God. Some people not valuing, not visiting. As I say, visiting a church. So you have to bring it to them. So you have to bring it to them. The enemy knows the power of prayers. I hear you. All right, so let's get into this evening's program with what's going on in Trinidad and Tobago. So we're going to start off with the nurses. Take a listen to this.
Overtime is a penalty to the employer for not providing adequate staff. So if you do not properly staff your institution and you have to call me out to overtime, you cannot now decide when you want to pay me. This is not a voluntary service. We don't work for free. We have bills just like everybody else. So we require our overtime monies and our pool monies to be paid the month it is earned.
The nurses say they are disregarded and treated as second-class citizens within the healthcare system, while Acosta noted that it is unlawful to adjust the overtime allowance downwards.
We have a multitude of issues. The issue of the pool, you cannot, good and proper industrial relations states that you cannot put a worker in a position less advantageous than before. So if it is the nurses were being paid $75 an hour, the nurses were not paying themselves. According to Good and Proper Industrial Relations, the CEO, nobody, can now reduce the pool amount to $60.
The nurses are vowing to continue taking action until their concerns are resolved.
The Chief Personnel Officer is tonight making it clear that raising nurses' overtime rate to $75 per hour was never ratified. CPO Commander Dr. Daryl Dindial made the comment hours after hundreds of nurses at the Eric Williams Medical Sciences Complex staged a silent demonstration outside the hospital's administrative building today. Staff took to the entrance during a brief march in a show of solidarity as they sought the immediate intervention of authorities to address their concerns. Dr. Dindial noted that the management of RHAs is outside his office's purview.
What was asked of us was to extend all the rates to $75 and to extend to other categories. That was not agreed upon because there's a reason why there's a difference in rates. Those that receive the higher rate do more complex work as opposed to the other areas.
During this morning's demonstration, registered nurse Rhea St. John Acosta told CNC3 News that such figures were justified given issues of short staffing in various departments, which required nurses to perform more than one task and at times even report for duties on their scheduled off days.
We don't have enough staff. Sometimes you're forced to work overtime because who is relieving you? You have nobody to relieve you. So you are saying that we should work for free.
Efforts to contact Minister of Health Dr. Lakram Bodo were unsuccessful up to news time.
Are healthcare workers in Trinidad being unreasonable, or are they simply asking for what is not only theirs, but what was promised to them? You see, under the former administration, when this guy was the Minister of Finance, he would have made wage offers that nobody agreed with. Even the unions disagreed with it. Enter Felicia Thomas. She heads the PSA, one of, if not the largest trade union in Trinidad and Tobago. Now here is where it gets interesting, because during the lead up to the last general elections, she would have been urging the members of the PSA to vote in a particular way.
Governments that stand against labor must be removed. The mobilization of the labor movement in favor of the UNC speaks volumes on the UNC's policies that will impact labor positively.
It's high time that the union start to advise its membership to vote in a particular manner that actually helps you.
And then she spent the ensuing weeks going on the political platform to tell the members vote for the UNC because wage negotiations are going to start at.
The UNC gave a commitment that negotiations would start with no less than 10%. Do you want that?
And apparently, who thunk it? The people actually did want that, so they voted along those lines. Election came, election went, the UNC won elections. You got what you wanted, but what was the reward for the healthcare workers that are actually on the ground? Well, the government went and dug up the failed Minister of Education from the People's Partnership days, made them the chairman of the board, who then quickly cut the overtime for the same nurses that voted for them about a year ago. And now the union is playing the blame game regarding the 10% wage negotiation. So the members are like, wait, hold up. This is not even the same as under the PNM. It's actually worse because no 10%. And on top of that, you are now cutting the money for overtime. But how has the government and its supporters responded to the nurses simply asking for what they were promised? Well, in typical UNC fashion, they unleashed the social media bots to attack the nurses on social media whole day.
Because she is an Indian woman and they cannot accept that.
Because the present PM is an Indian woman. Jump, high jump. Low racist to the highest level, and that is the truth.
Because Indian ruling, that's why.
Oh yes, Creole rule our country for 56 years, and only corruption from the very start we need Indian to bring back our country.
They are political activists planted into these agencies. May every one of them die painful, slow deaths. They are traitors to our nation. May all of you suffer and die miserably for the suffering you have allowed to go unmanaged today. Sure, there were some doing their duty, but open your eyes, Trinidad. Look at this video. It's 95% one race. Protesting and retarded sheep want to pretend this is not political.
Now I can imagine how the healthcare workers, be it nurses, attendants, orderlies, the entire staff feeling, seeing those comments and posts all across social media by UNC activists. But even as a citizen, I am taken aback at how quickly race has jumped into the mix where it have no place being. I will never get behind somebody not liking somebody else simply because of the texture of their hair. I don't understand that concept, especially given the fact that this outcome would have and could have never happened if it wasn't for people of African descent voting for an Indian woman to become Prime Minister. something that they would have known when they were voting for her. You know what gets me? Some of the pages that are pushing this content across social media are supported by the UNC government. And not one minister will come out and say, hey, ease up on that racism. Ease up on that nonsense stuff. You could disagree with somebody on everything that they stand for and insult them from morning till afternoon and never have reason to bring up their race. It's a sickening disease that some of you all have. Oh, and by the way, remember I said that they dug up the failed Minister of Education from the People's Partnership days and placed him as chairman on the board? Well, guess who is also on that board? We don't have anything called conflict of interest in this country, you know. But seeing that she's now on that board, these words that she said here rings truer than ever.
You have to love yourself and your family.
Do what you have to do, Gil. Do what you have to do. But pick a side. It's either you are a union leader or a government proxy. You can't be...
I hope you all are seeing the letter from PSC on April 26th or something, somewhere there. I hope you all are seeing the letter, you know. I hope you all are seeing the letter. I really hope so. I really hope so. I'm not sure. I was asking for a friend. Will you see any letter? I don't know. Will you see any letter? I hope you'll see any letter. I really hope you'll see any letter. Take a read. All you done read? Everybody read it? I wonder if everybody read it. I wonder. While the nurses and they are clamoring and wanting the pound of flesh, and the nurses and they are asking for their money, we also have another bunch of people who didn't get their money. And, you know, people are still being sent home. Are you aware of that? Are you all aware that people are still being sent home in this country? I don't know. I don't know how many of you are aware of it. But a lot of people are being sent home, you know. There are people who are being sent home. Trinidad and Tobago, and by extension the world. There are people who are being sent home. You all aware of that? So while people are talking and pretending as though everything is hunky-dory in this country, everything is not. So I'm going to play for you again what Rambles had to say. So bear in mind what you just read from the PSC.
Are healthcare workers in Trinidad being unreasonable, or are they simply asking for what is not only theirs, but what was promised to them? You see, under the former administration, when this guy was the Minister of Finance, he would have made wage offers that nobody agreed with. Even the unions disagreed with it. Enter Felicia Thomas. She heads the PSA, one of, if not the largest trade union in Trinidad and Tobago. Now here is where it gets interesting, because during the lead up to the last general elections, she would have been urging the members of the PSA to vote in a particular way.
Governments that stand against labor must be removed. The mobilization of the labor movement in favor of the UNC speaks volumes on the UNC's policies that will impact labor positively.
It's high time that the union start to advise its membership to vote in a particular manner that actually helps you.
And then she spent the ensuing weeks going on the political platform to tell the members vote for the UNC because wage negotiations are going to start at.
The UNC gave a commitment that negotiations would start with no less than 10%. Do you want that?
And apparently, who thunk it? The people actually did want that, so they voted along those lines. Election came, election went, the UNC won elections. You got what you wanted, but what was the reward for the healthcare workers that are actually on the ground? Well, the government went and dug up the failed Minister of Education from the People's Partnership days, made them the chairman of the board, who then quickly cut the overtime for the same nurses that voted for them about a year ago. And now the union is playing the blame game regarding the 10% wage negotiation. So the members are like, wait, hold up. This is not even the same as under the PNM. It's actually worse because no 10%. And on top of that, you are now cutting the money for overtime. But how has the government and its supporters responded to the nurses simply asking for what they were promised? Well, in typical UNC fashion, they unleashed the social media bots to attack the nurses on social media whole day.
Because she is an Indian woman and they cannot accept that.
Because the present PM is an Indian woman. Jump, high jump. Low racist to the highest level, and that is the truth.
Because Indian ruling, that's why.
Oh yes, Creole rule our country for 56 years, and only corruption from the very start we need Indian to bring back our country.
They are political activists planted into these agencies. May every one of them die painful, slow deaths. They are traitors to our nation. May all of you suffer and die miserably for the suffering you have allowed to go unmanaged today. Sure, there were some doing their duty, but open your eyes, Trinidad. Look at this video. It's 95% one race. Protesting and retarded sheep want to pretend this is not political.
Now I can imagine how the healthcare workers, be it nurses, attendants, orderlies, the entire staff feeling, seeing those comments and posts all across social media by UNC activists. But even as a citizen, I am taken aback at how quickly race has jumped into the mix where it have no place being. I will never get behind somebody not liking somebody else simply because of the texture of their hair. I don't understand that concept, especially given the fact that this outcome would have and could have never happened if it wasn't for people of African descent voting for an Indian woman to become Prime Minister. Something that they would have known when they were voting for her. You know what gets me? Some of the pages that are pushing this content across social media are supported by the UNC government. And not one minister will come out and say, hey, ease up on that racism. Ease up on that nonsense stuff. You could disagree with somebody on everything that they stand for and insult them from morning till afternoon and never have reason to bring up their race. It's a sickening disease that some of you all have. Oh, and by the way, remember I said that they dug up the failed Minister of Education from the People's Partnership days and placed him as chairman on the board? Well, guess who is also on that board? We don't have anything called conflict of interest in this country, you know. But seeing that she's now on that board, these words that she said here rings truer than ever.
You have to love yourself and your family.
Do what you have to do, Gil. Do what you have to do. But pick a side. It's either you are a union leader or a government proxy. You can't be both at the same time.
Well, it's not the news teachers will want to hear tonight, but there's still no concrete date for the payment of their back pay. Instead, the chief personnel officer is calling for patience. A statement by the finance minister on February 27th has led to confusion regarding the outstanding arrears for teachers. Minister Devendranath Tanku told CNC3 News in an interview that both back pay and new salaries will be paid by the first quarter of calendar 2026, which ended today. While the teachers did in fact get their new salaries, the back pay is still outstanding. CNC3 News asked the CPO for an update, and he said he's unaware of any commitment to pay back pay this month, but he knows the process has begun.
I would say to the teachers to be a bit patient. they are aware that it is an exercise that has to be engaged. I'm hopeful at the end of the exercise, all of the issues concerning the outstanding increments, for instance, is dealt with one time, and then they can pay the arrears. I can't speak for the Ministry of Education, but I know that the process has commenced. I suspect it will take a couple of months.
This is not welcomed news at all for Tutor, which has been asking the Finance Minister for an exact date for payment.
That is very disappointing news for Tutor to hear, coming from the Chief Personnel Officer, because if his boss, which is the Minister of Finance, would have articulated on public television that at the end of the first quarter, and when asked about it again, he seemed to be a bit perturbed by the reporter asking him, as a matter of fact, when he said, I told you that already, and it would have been month of March he was talking about.
But Tutor is still awaiting official word from the Finance Minister on this issue.
It's really sad, eh? It's really, really sad. It's a sad day. You know, I also heard where Tutor was talking about they were talking about some people who got fired. Yeah, I was hearing where Tutor was talking about some people who got sent home. Let's take this call. Hello, good evening. Hello, good evening.
Good night, sir.
Good evening, sir.
You find it sad?
Yes, I find it sad.
No, you find it sad, man, because you see, the part that was important for me is when the CPO said about the breakdown with the back pay. So what he said was that the new salaries would cause that for new right? So the increase, which would be really 17% because the consolidated COLA, right?
Mm-hmm.
He said that the breakdown overall back pay and the salary increases is $2.something billion. And he added that was not catered for in this current budget. So the minister will have to come and do something in the mid-year review. He thinks. He's not sure, he thinks. But the payout for this the increase is $1 billion. That get that. And then for the back pay is another 1.6 billion.
My brother, let me stop you. Wait, now let me stop you. Let me stop you, my brother.
Yeah, good.
My brother. I listened to the CPO this evening when he was giving the NFGW.
Yeah, huge, NUGFW,
yeah. He was giving the union the 10%. He said to them that you all are not going to get that money until July, till after the budget.
And even as late as December, he said in this calendar year is not the same as fiscal year because the fiscal ending in September. Go ahead, Pastor.
Me had it to see. I don't see what to say.
Now remember, we had said that since last year, Pastor. Remember, we had said that because in the budget document, and the minister said it in Standing Finance Committee, these increases were not catered for. When questioned by the opposition, they said that, and just like what Ramble was saying about the comment below one thing, they said they will find the money. 9 years PLM was there, and they couldn't find the money. Right? 9 years. And you know what's interesting? It's interesting what the president and youth said, right? He said 4%. You think you could go and tell your wife that they were getting that's $90 increase with the 4%? But you know what I'm saying? He ain't talking about NIS going up by 3% from January and going up by the next 3%. So we're going to get eroded again. And here what happened? based on what the continuing geopolitical situation, certain raises that you didn't cater for outside of core inflation would be coming. So the cost of food and thing, the cost of everything that they import, that come in. And you are saying the non-cash that the CPO talk about, he say it will be a 40-60, right? So again, 40 in your hand as you're back paying cash, and the other 60% will be non-cash, which is paying off your arrears, paying off your mortgage, and so on. And then other mechanisms. What is the other mechanisms, Pastor? What it is? But listen, the part about patience and the final part of the clip that I played, wasn't the last administration saying about patience? Didn't the last administration tell us that 2026, this fiscal year, will be the last year of really moving stream? And once certain projects come on stream in the energy sector, you will see growth above 2% the next 2 years, 27 and 28. Wasn't that told to us? That is what I say. If you really want to say that you're feeling sorry, we were told all these things honestly. And then I had to give the last administration something. Give me honesty. Don't give me lies and then you stab me in my back. No, give me honesty. I was good with honesty and truth. I was good with that. I mean, look at the president on Twitter, what he said. There are no guarantee on when they will get their back pay, and not everybody getting new salaries as yet. Then he talk about the people in the schools who assist administratively and so on. Huh? But all they fall back on is because I know when you come on that with the no march, you know. I know that is what fall back on. It's PNM Africa and it's PNM man, PNM don't see a Germany to be PNM back sometime. Pastor, I'm not sorry, but I'll take in the developments that you concerned and watch what people will accept. That's the next thing. Watch what the same people will accept. Thanks for the opportunity, Pastor. Take care.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
It's East-West Corridor people supporting the PNM. Let me say here tonight to public servants, wherever you may be, if your president succeeds in removing the PNM from office, many thousands of you will follow that by removing yourself out of your jobs. And let me tell you why. The government of Trinidad and Tobago led most of the years by caring PNM governments have taken on the responsibility of ensuring a quality of life for people in this country that is now at the level of almost impossible to fund beyond where we are. In a $60 billion budget, the largest expenditure in that budget is on the monthly payment to public servants wherever they might be. Every month, on average, not just public servants on the Gazette, you know, the government supports the payroll of some state enterprises. If WASA doesn't get a $200 billion from the Minister of Finance virtually every month, WASA workers cannot be paid consistently in the way that they have been, you know. But as Prime Minister, I could tell you, the hardest job of the government and of the Prime Minister is to ensure that there are revenues coming in on one side to ensure that expenditure can be supported on the other side. And nobody could give you any other equation. The singular equation that you should be concerned about in this country now is what is our revenue situation and what is our expenditure situation. If you listen to the PSA leader and the UNC and their campaign in 2025, all they are concerned about is improving and expanding the expenditure side of the equation. And to do that, to make it, honey, quoted for you, they tell you things like they will increase public servants' pay by 10%. Ladies and gentlemen, from this platform tonight I could tell you, once a government comes in and gets on that pathway of making that kind of increase to public servants, the highway has to be labeled two ways. One, you are going to end up at the IMF, the International Monetary Fund station, and you're going to get there by the road called devaluation. And let me tell all of you something tonight. If God forbid, and there's a government in office that finds itself without revenues to meet the monthly expenditure to public servants, the one thing that government will not do is to write checks to you and then the checks bounce in the bank. Governments don't operate so. Before you get to that point where the checks will bounce in the bank, you cut the liability of requiring to write the checks. You know what that means? When the government finds itself in a position not being able to pay the payroll, ask Barbados what happened. It's tens of thousands of public servants that come off the payroll. Governments don't have you on the payroll working and can't pay you. They take you off the payroll. In this country, anybody who is telling you that they will incur expenditure that we all know the revenues cannot support, they are telling you in code that they intend to cut the public service. And let me tell you what my source of information tells me when I try to understand what the UNC is about. You know what the UNC is saying quietly and secretly? If they ever get to that situation where they come into office and they can't pay the bills that they're committed to, and they cut the public service, is mainly PNM supporters that will be affected, because the bulk of the public service is East-West Corridor people supporting the PNM.
National Union of Government and Federated Workers has agreed to a 10% wage increase with the government in a deal expected to cost the state more than $2 billion in arrears. The agreement, which covers the 2014 to 2019 period, will benefit 20,000 workers and will carry a bill of $2.6 billion. 40% of those arrears will be paid in cash, with the first tranche due before the end of 2026. Meanwhile, $1.6 billion of the back pay will be in non-cash options, such as the offsetting of debts. The new salaries will cost the state $252 million more per annum. Meanwhile, Chief Personnel Officer Commander Dr. Daryl Dindial explained how the money will be made available.
This was not budgeted for in the last budget, current budget, and therefore the Honourable Minister of Finance will be looking to find monies for the new salaries in the mid-year review. We do expect the new salaries to come on June or July of this year, and we expect the first tranche of the arrears to be paid in this calendar year.
The CPO explained that retirees will also benefit, but their back pay will be paid fully in cash. Meanwhile, the NUGFW said this milestone was 13 years in the making and all workers under their bargaining unit will benefit. Union President Christopher Street said they are pleased with the terms, especially having come from a starting point of a mere 4% increase.
When the offer of 10% was made, my brother, you see, we are realists, you know, and we know in another period we wouldn't have had any non-cash settlement. Cash is king. Negotiations and wages are about dollars and cents. But we are very responsible and we understand what is taking place in Trinidad and Tobago and the economy.
The NUGFW is made up of state-employed laborers, tradesmen, and who the union described as blue-collar workers. National Union of Government and Federated Workers has agreed to a 10% wage increase with the government in a deal expected to cost the state more than $2 billion in arrears. The agreement, which covers the 2014 to 2019 period, will benefit 20,000 workers and will carry a bill of $2.6 billion. 40% of those arrears will be paid in cash, with the first tranche due before the end of 2026. Meanwhile, $1.6 billion of the back pay will be in non-cash options, such as the offsetting of debts. The new salaries will cost the state $252 million more per annum. Meanwhile, Chief Personnel Officer Commander Dr. Daryl Dindial explained how the money will be made available.
This was not budgeted for in the last budget, current budget, and therefore the Honourable Minister of Finance will be looking to find monies for the new salaries in the mid-year review. We do expect the new salaries to come on June or July of this year, and we expect the first tranche of the arrears to be paid in this calendar year.
The CPO explained that retirees will also benefit, but their back pay will be paid fully in cash. Meanwhile, the NUGFW said this milestone was 13 years in the making and all workers under their bargaining unit will benefit. Union President Christopher Street said they are pleased with the terms, especially having come from a starting point of a mere 4% increase.
When the offer of 10% was made, my brother, you see, we are realists, you know, and we know in another period we wouldn't have had any non-cash settlement. Cash is king. Negotiations and wages are about dollars and cents. But we are very responsible and we understand what is taking place in Trinidad and Tobago and the economy.
The NUGFW is made up of state-employed laborers, tradesmen, and who the union described as blue-collar workers.
And remember, I told you this here tonight. First thing they will say, get rid of CPEP. Get rid of UR. Get rid of reforestation. All the contract workers in the government, get rid of them. If the UNC gets their way and they start with their bag of poison goodies, it is going to lead to a devaluation. If UNC wins, you lose. The UNC's National Economic Transformation Master Plan 2020 to 2025. This is Kamala's plan. As soon as we highlighted that they're going to devalue the dollar, if you go on their website today, they have taken it down because they are dishonest and all they seek to do is mislead Trinidad and Tobago.
Based on further investigations, Young also claimed that the UNC's plan includes selling state assets. He emphasized that these assets are critical to the government's ability to provide employment for citizens.
National Gas, NLCB, National Quarries, NP, MTS, Caribbean Airlines, NEDCO, TTT, T&Tech, WASA, E-Tech, Lake Asphalt, the port. Those are the UNC's plans. And watch and see how they try to distance themselves. Trinidad and Tobago, you are being cautioned and advised.
He cautioned the citizens about their choices ahead of the election, maintaining that if the UNC is elected, the country could face dire consequences.
Next week, Monday, if you take God out of your thoughts and you decide not to go and vote, and you decide not to vote for red, ready, and responsible PNM government, that, in addition to a devaluation of 15-1, in addition to the IMF reaching here within a year, will be what we will have to deal with.
Joshua Dan, Tobago Updates, the Television News.
Since we are still in a tight financial spot, I would also urge that they consider the divestments or sale of certain state assets or state entities, because the proceeds from these sales will help to meet state spending without necessarily putting extra pressure on the debt levels. Plus, some of these entities and assets soak up a lot of much needed state finances each year through transfers, and these same state funds could be repurposed to more productive avenues.
With food security remaining
key area to be addressed, Dr. Arjun had this advice.
A clear plan could also be presented to lower the food import bill. This is something that I expect to see and to revamp, in order to revamp the agricultural sector through introducing, for example, smart agricultural technologies and practices locally that can optimize the agricultural production per acreage. Again, in line with the diversification thrust and reducing the dependency on food import.
Caribbean Airlines is tonight denying reports that it plans to close down the company. A Sunday Guardian report revealed that the airline approached the finance ministry seeking, amongst other things, a financial bailout. At least 2 directors reportedly believe the airline should be either closed or sold. But CAL says operations continue as normal. In a media release, the airline's board says there has been no discussion about winding up the airline. Instead, it insists the board is actively reviewing operations and working on audited financial statements. Meanwhile, Chief Secretary Farley Augustine says he doesn't share the view that CAL should be closed down. In a WhatsApp message to CNC3 News, Augustine says the THA views CAL as a public transportation service, and as such, the economic benefits far outweigh balancing the finances. He says CAL should be adopting the Copa Airlines model and subsidized into making our 2 major airports a hub between the Caribbean and the rest of the world.
Chairman of the National Gas Company, Gerald
Caribbean Airlines is tonight denying reports that it plans to close down the company. A Sunday Guardian report revealed that the airline approached the finance ministry seeking, amongst other things, a financial bailout. At least 2 directors reportedly believe the airline should be either closed or sold. But CAL says operations continue as normal. In a media release, the airline's board says there has been no discussion about winding up the airline. Instead, it insists the board is actively reviewing operations and working on audited financial statements. Meanwhile, Chief Secretary Farley Augustine says he doesn't share the view that CAL should be closed down. In a WhatsApp message to CNC3 News, Augustine says the THA views CAL as a public transportation service, and as such, the economic benefits far outweigh balancing the finances. He says CAL should be adopting the Copa Airlines model and subsidized into making our 2 major airports a hub between the Caribbean and the rest of the world.
Chairman of the National Gas Company
will have to deal with.
Joshua Dan, Tobago Updates, the television news.
Since we are still in a tight financial spot, I would also urge that they consider the divestments or sale of certain state assets or state entities, because the proceeds from these sales will help to meet state spending without necessarily putting extra pressure on the debt levels. Plus, some of these entities and assets soak up a lot of much needed state finances each year through transfers, and these same state funds could be repurposed to more productive avenues.
With food security remaining a key area to be addressed, Dr. Arjun had this advice.
A clear plan could also be presented to lower the food import bill. This is something that I expect to see and to revamp, in order to revamp the agricultural sector through introducing, for example, smart agricultural technologies and practices locally that can optimize the agricultural production per acreage. Again, in line with the diversification thrust and reducing the dependency on food import.
Hey, I just had to relax myself, laugh a little bit, relax myself. What do you have to see? What do you all have to see? 464-7003. 464-7003. 464-7003. What is your thoughts on all of this that is going on in Trinidad and Tobago? What What is your thoughts about all of this? All of this that's happening in Trinidad and Tobago. What is your thoughts? Tell me now. Talk to me now. What's all your thoughts? All of this going on, all of these things going on in Trinidad and Tobago. Oh yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to say. Honestly, I don't know what to say. Dr. Rowley warned me. Dr. Rowley warned this nation, you know. Yeah, Dr. Rowley warned this place. What is your thoughts? 464-7003. 464-7003. What is your thoughts? Talk to your brother. This is amazing. This is amazing. It's amazing. So they're going to get a 10%. Right? There are people who are going to get their 10%. Or they're listening. Or they're hearing. But it's when they're going to get a 10%. When are they going to get it? Right? It wasn't budgeted for. But it was, oh gosh. Anyway, the minister had to tell him, would have told, what's his name? Commander of India, that, you know. Yeah, the India would not have made statements like that without getting advice from the Minister of Finance. So I don't know. What is your thoughts though? After sitting and seeing and hearing all what I played a while ago, what is your thoughts on all of this? That is I really want to know, you know.
November 7th, I see black man cry.
Hello, good evening.
Hi, good afternoon.
Good evening. Hi, good evening.
Hi, Francis Guru. Good afternoon. First time caller?
First time caller. You need to, I don't know. I'm not hearing you loud enough to you. Sounding very soft.
Okay, are you hearing me clearly now?
Better.
Are you hearing me clearly now?
Yes, I'm hearing you clearly now.
Yes. But I have been looking at you for the longest while. But the thought may have occurred to me. Do you think that our nation probably needs to go through a whole drill of economics, knowledge, and information in order to make decisive decision when it comes to voting in a government? Because it is clear that our society has dropped the ball in not keeping in touch with basic economics, how our countries run, what is required, what is needed, what is our responsibilities as citizens. Because this is what I'm picking up. We may be a nation that has been pushing education for the longest while as our mantra. But it is clear to me for us to make decisions without proper economic information. I think that is where the problem lies. Because if you have our Prime Minister, Dr. Rowley, give us in the most symptomatic manner exactly what is going on. He didn't use no big word. He didn't use no big educational word. Simple, grassroots, down-to-earth explanation. And we still make such a mistake because of lack of information. How do we fix this part to Google?
All right, so don't come off the line.
Okay.
I love this constructive conversation you're having with me. I love it. Don't come off the line. Stay on the line.
Okay.
The first year that Dr. Rowley came into office in 2015,
right?
His first term. Kudos to Dr. Rowley. I salute him. I give him enough respect. He went and he did a PowerPoint presentation to the nation about our income. This is how much oil we pull in from the ground. This is how much barrel of oil we producing. This is our income based on oil.
Right.
The second thing he did was we are now moving from an oil economy to a gas economy. And he showed us all of that in a PowerPoint presentation with when he was having an address to the nation. All right?
Right.
I said, hey, that time I was on radio, I would have played it back. I said, wow, I've never seen a prime minister done something like this in the history of this country.
I agree.
He started something called Conversations with the Prime Minister. You remember that?
Right. Yes, I remember that.
When he would go and he would sit down in an arena, put a microphone in front of the people, and have them come and question him. Right?
Right.
Personally, I had an issue when he stopped doing that.
I agree.
I felt as though the people of Trinidad and Tobago, as you rightfully said in your contribution earlier on, needed that kind of continuous schooling.
Right.
So here what I'm saying. If Dr. Rowley couldn't do it, the Minister of Finance could have found himself in that white chair.
Right.
The Minister of Energy could have found himself in that white chair. I think the concept that he started was a good one, but he could have used different ministers to inform the country.
I agree. And that is why, as I said, not interjecting to what you're saying, Pastor Google.
No, you go ahead. You go ahead. We're having that conversation.
From my observation,
yes,
I'm going to be 64 in April. I born 1962.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
We were a more informed people back in those times. I can remember as a teenager coming up. You'll pass in with first square and you'll meet a group of people
Come on.
Conversation.
They still at the board. They still at that blackboard there.
Right, having conversation. Okay, what about our schools and our universities?
Yes.
Why aren't we teaching our young people to be patriotic, to understand how their country functions, to understand loving our country? Why aren't our teachers informing themselves and passing this information on so that we don't be caught always illiterate, like we don't know what's going on? We're making informed decisions because of the bacchanal and the misinformation.
Yes.
And that is what happens in the situation now.
Thank you.
We need to find a way to either re-educate our teachers who are responsible for teaching our young ones about our economics, not politics, economics.
Thank you.
Separate the politics. It has nothing to do. Government come, government go. We are not going forward. We're not teaching our young people to be patriotic, to love our country like blood. We only want, and not prepared to understand how economics function, how our country build, how we create, and even the creators are not given the opportunity to create and develop and expand. So where are we going forward? Where are we going from this point onward? Where are we going? The gimme thing has to stop. It has to stop. We have to find ways to create opportunities. The world is changing so fast. We can't even keep up right now. We're behind time. Where is it going to begin and start? When? How?
Thank you.
How?
Preach.
So I am just listening to you and you know and I can't wait for you to bring those young people.
Oh, come on.
Let's hear what they have to say because now it's their time. Now it's their young people time. I cannot wait for you to bring these young people. Let me hear what the young people how they see it, because they see things differently to us, you know. Some of them are brilliant, so bright, so intelligent, but they're not being given an outlet, a place.
Yes.
That they could expand themselves and be recognized for it.
Yes.
So I am looking forward to you bringing young people where I can really gather what they have to say. It is time for us to start to listen to them.
Thank you. And guide
them. We are on our way out. We are on our way to leave this place.
Yeah. Guide
what
them.
What are we leaving for? What are we leaving for our young people? What kind of country we live in? Everybody just has become selfish and self-opinionated and only want what they want. And then when the person a mess now, everybody wants to blame somebody and not take responsibility that we contributed to this.
Thank you.
So this is all I have to say. As I said, let us hear what the young people, how they see our politics. And we need to get back teaching economics and pride and these things in the classroom from PE stage coming up to university level. Because it comes like it's just a waste of time with our education system here now.
Thank you.
It's rather unperformed. And who training who for what? We need to change that.
Yes.
Okay, Pastor Good. Thanks for giving me the time.
Thanks for
calling. And I look forward to those young people.
Thank you.
Let me hear. I'm anxious to hear what they have to say.
And don't be a stranger.
At all. Have a good night. And thank you. I'm listening.
You're welcome.
Okay then.
Coming soon to Constructive Talk Network. Critical Thinkers. It's a youth show with a youth perspective on current affairs and issues in Trinidad and Tobago. Critical Thinkers. Youth perspective on Constructive Talk. Coming soon to Constructive Talk Network. Critical Thinkers. It's a youth show with a youth perspective on current affairs and issues in Trinidad and Tobago. Critical Thinkers. Youth perspective on Constructive Talk. Continue to take your calls. 464-7003. Let's talk. Hello, good evening.
Hello, good evening, Pastor Google.
Yes, sir.
I'm talking about CAL now, Trinidad Airlines, right? Under the PNM, regardless of how much money or debt they had, right? They was always trying, they were subsidizing CAL, right? And they're trying to save the airline from going belly up or getting bankrupt or anything like that. Right, can't function. You understand? Because we need tourism. Tourism is one of the backbone of Trinidad and Tobago, and especially Tobago. You understand? With the hotels, with the food and all that. You understand? We can't afford to lose CAL. You understand? I think the government is supposed to still finance CAL. Trinidad Airlines, you understand? Continue to subsidize them. You understand? Another thing is, I don't know the people who they have on the board now in CAL, if they could manage, but they are wrong people in some of them positions on the boards and things in CAL. You understand? Under the PNM, it never had all this amount of, we never had them kind of problem. It's only since UNC come in power with the new CAL was up, it's a problem. I don't know that the wrong set of people there. Why CAL, it's not them come. We never had it so bad. You understand? So I think they really have to save that airline because we really need the Caribbean Airlines, you understand? Because we need tourism. You understand? We need visitors coming here. You understand? So we have to try and save that. And what the government has to do? Put money into CAL. You understand? You have to watch at long term. Not you can't be myopic. And you understand? And look at short term. You have to watch it for the future then.
All right.
All right.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, sir. All right, so we continue to take your calls. You know, I remember I played a clip here for you guys where Ms. Bisasa would have told CAL that if they don't make a profit in 2 years, this is a year, they have 1 more year. If they don't make a profit in 2 years, anybody could remember what she said? Is anybody out there could remember what the Prime Minister said to CAL when she got into office? Hello, good evening.
Good night, Pastor Google.
Hi, good evening.
So, listening to all what you played out, Pastor Google, and that lady had a very good contribution as well. Let me say that first. But listening to all what you played there, which means, is it fair to say that every time the Kamala administration come in, everything mashing up? When she come in, the OPV sell. They sell the blimp. They sell the panorama. They just selling everything. No car looking to probably go. Who knows what will happen? So it's everything they destroy. Look, for instance, with our MV Blue. If they didn't sell the panorama, with the Tobago, with our own boat, we have to be renting a boat to be back and forth to Tobago. And with all the own boats going through the waters, they sell that. They leave the sea unguarded. It's everything they're mashing up. Everything is good, do something. Everything. And the only thing, Pastor Google, that I would like to tell Miss Penny Becker is to stop, at least acknowledge Dr. Rowley. It doesn't look good for her to look like she's trying to strip him of, she's trying to distance herself from him in a sense. But we live in to see his words. Them same and see where everybody cussing. Right now I could do it from, I could get them past Google because I do it things really. I feel I will eat yam and butter until because that is what it will end up to. Have a great night.
All right, thank you very much. I don't know why you would say that she's distancing herself from him. I saw where there was a question asked to her by the media about his remarks to Ms. Bisessa, and she said, when you push a man, when you push somebody, that's what you get. You push somebody and you push somebody and you push somebody, they would respond. Hello, good evening.
Good evening to you and all of Trinidad, Tobago, and the rest of the world, and every living with ears and could hear. All human and things. Pastor Google.
Yes, sir, I'm hearing you loud and clear.
It have a saying. Actions speak louder than words. So you see with all the words? You understand? What's the action? What's the racial actions that taking place? Just watch the actions and tell me if it's not racism. Huh? All right. I'll leave you alone. Let it call in and find out. The action say all more than what they say, more than the word. Some of the words is racial, but the action. Watch it later.
All right. Continue to take your calls. 464-7003. 464-7003. Anybody else want to call in? You can call in now. Share your views. All right. Anybody else want to call in and share their views? Hello, good evening.
Good afternoon, Pastor.
Good evening, 10%. Hey, you see, only getting more money for share out, boy.
We don't know what you're talking about.
But you didn't see the another union get 10%?
Who got what? Who?
You're not listening to the program, or?
I'm listening to which union get 10%.
But I played it for you just now.
No, I know which union, so you gotta excuse me. I already when I issued you're showing some videos with this girl Felicia on some board and thing. Yeah, that was and then I was saying Church telling the people the UNC plans, which they didn't believe, but no, the seeing come to pass. But I mean, that being said, Pastor, I don't know, because I mean, you cannot tell me you need to start a spoon feed to constantly spoon feed a society, because if not if they didn't know, they knew. You know, before the election, what was the narrative, Pastor?
What was the narrative?
The narrative was there was Stephen, but we are still getting something. What?
I heard somebody said that on the TV. Somebody said that on somewhere. Somebody said that somewhere. I heard that today, where somebody said that yes, the UNC was corrupt, but we used to get food. We still used to eat.
So then people who went to my droves, that was the narrative. That had the vote. How the vote? That was the narrative. Then who went to one after the next by droves. There was Stephen, we were still getting something. I remember hearing that narrative. And this was getting something. We know that was Stephen, but this was getting something.
Yeah, but there was a lot of people who still voted for them this wrong here, believing that in their first inclination they would have gotten stuff, and they believed that they would get stuff now that with them coming back.
Yeah, quite a few of them did that. I know a great deal, but they according to the man a few quarters back, economics. You don't understand where your economy is and where your economy was. It has quite a great deal of people don't understand where we are now. And the economy, Hence the reason she can say what she say and come now to tell you whole train and half of the things she promised she can be important, because a lot of people don't understand where the economy was and where it is. And even though Dr. Oli and Sturgeon told them where it is and where we are, they still didn't care, because they believe, again, what the lady said, they believe that for some strange reason, when she come back, she go turn from knob and milk and honey go flow. They don't understand where it was and where we at. Quite a few people, let's say like about, let's say about 4 in 100 voters actually understand where it was. The other 96 had no clue where it was, because they believe that for some reason she going to bust some cloud in the sky and money going to fall out. Because when you ask the lady, because I saw the lady in La Jolla, I want to ask you where she get the money.
We used to in La Jolla.
McCoy.
I don't believe you.
I was working.
Yeah, right. Go ahead.
You know what I was working? Anyhow, I saw a lady. I wonder actually where she get any money. She said, "Oh, you will find the money." And now you're coming out there to tell me where you can do, and you're coming out there to tell me. I thought to tell me you could that's all so he paying for. Nah, he wicked. I don't pretend. You come out to tell me now. Take some cash and take some non-cash. Are you mad? You come out now to tell port workers take 20% at the back pay, but you can't tell them when they're going to get NFEC.
I trying to find that video with Miss Bisessa saying she given Carl 2 years, 2 years to get the act together.
Yeah,
to
I know
be
she said that.
profitable. She said that she giving Carl 2 years to be profitable.
I know she said. Well, come on, Pastor. You really feel like the goalie out, eh?
What is that?
You really feel like the goalie out, eh?
Brother man, I had a recording, brother man. I had a recording. I don't play, me don't play, no. I not only, you know. I have it recorded. I have only recorded. Anyway, let me be careful what I'm saying, eh? Because fellas like Ole, so tell Ole, yeah, they could tell Ole, Ole union leader, Ole have to go after Google, you know.
Me? I don't
Ole don't get Ole 10%. Let me tell you, listen. Hey, don't do that. Black people right now, you see black people right now selling out one another.
Why?
For the best price.
Yeah,
in PNM and UNC. If you could get something on Google to destroy Google, they will do it. In the PNM and in the UNC. Is it both sides? Both sides destroying black people right now.
Yeah, because everybody for themselves. Everybody themselves. Nobody themselves. And Pastor, before I go, I seen what going on in Mount Hope, right? Just across the fence from Wassa. There's a lady on that board. Have nothing to say. No? You know what?
But are you going to tell me that?
Mount Hope is across the fence from Wassa, you know? If Wassa workers losing the incentive, that lady got to make noise. And she on her board with hard-working people losing a big part of the incentive, and she saying nothing. Right over defense. Right over defense.
I want to tell you something. And if I tell you, I want to tell you, but if I tell you,
do something like that man.
Oh,
I despise that man, trust me.
Despise that man, but let me tell you something.
Since that man blowing a bag in front of Parliament, I was shocked. I don't believe I'm in Sablo could blow a bag. I didn't think I had a little to see. I'm in Sablo blowing a bag in front of Parliament.
But I want to tell you something. Yeah, you tell me just now if I believe they will keep something like that on the in the media now. And I told you about Caribbean Airlines. So we were talking about Caribbean Airlines just now.
Yeah, I know.
And I told you, I said, don't play with me. Don't ever.
I know you find it.
Don't play with me. Take a listen to this. Take a listen to this. Take a listen to this. Right?
In Caribbean Airlines, they have 86 people in their financial department. Now guess what? They have spent over $60 million hiring Ernst & Young and Price Waterhouse to conduct audits. 86 people on your staff. Billions and millions being paid out like this. To date, Caribbean Airlines has not submitted an audited financial statement for the last 9 years. Do you know not one single Caribbean Airlines route is profitable? Not one route is profitable. Yet plane filling up every day, going and coming. Not one single route of Caribbean Airlines is bringing a profit. But we are spending millions of dollars there. I am giving the management of Caribbean Airlines 2 years, max. They have to sort out the mess. Otherwise, everyone there will have to look for a new job. Everyone will have to look for a new job. Your future is in your hands. No longer will we accept taxes paid by ordinary citizens, paid by teachers, paid by policemen, small enterprises. We take your money to upkeep CAL, allowing its management to receive large salaries for doing what? Failing in their jobs. Must not continue. Furthermore, My government will not continue to bail out perennially failing state enterprises. The majority of them are failing, spending billions in debt still. This cannot continue. We cannot do business like this.
Coming soon to Constructive Talk Network, Critical Thinkers. It's a youth show with a youth perspective on current affairs and issues in Trinidad and Tobago. Critical Thinkers, youth perspective on Constructive Talk.
Hello?
Can you hear that caller?
I hear you. I'm in charge and I know you have it. And after saying all that, one day they were if it's need and the side operate some of me. And right after May is June, when the flood was up, the flood was from June to September, we are seeing people are paying. After she said all that, she flood water. This is what I what I mark at is the person who, if anybody in Wasa, especially on the monthly staff, lose the incentive, that same person go upon the green days and ring bell and make noise. But you're on the other side of the fence. People who look like you, people who are working, losing the incentive and you have nothing to say. You have nothing to say. And it's just over the fence.
You know, somebody make a statement here on YouTube. They said, wait, and they want to go and reopen the refinery.
But I want to know where they get money, huh? Because I know we're not pushing the oil for that bring a profit. So I want to know where they want to get the oil, because we, the country, not pushing the level oil. So I want to know where they get oil.
Right in the backyard.
Where?
In the backyard.
How do because we don't produce that oil. We have to buy oil. That's how we have losing money. We have to buy oil to refine. So I don't know who tell I wish they do back and harass everybody who was the work. And I want to see who paying them because
we pay them.
No.
Yes.
The government.
No. Your tax-paying dollars are going to pay them.
Why the government are to take that? Because we do not produce anybody with conscience that the same thing what they want to say economics. Anybody who have conscience could know we do not produce the level of oil so that refining needs to operate. So where going to show for oil? Ever?
I don't know.
All right. Well, I'm on some space. I'll go on. You're listening.
Airlines. Prime Minister Kamla Persad-Bissessar has issued a stern warning to the management of Caribbean Airlines, highlighting the airline's failure to submit audited financial statements for the past 9 years. Speaking during her Monday night report, she expressed serious concerns over the lack of transparency, especially given the company's 86-member finance department and over $60 million spent on Ernst & Young and PricewaterhouseCoopers to conduct financial audits. She also highlighted even more financially troubling facts about the company.
Do you know not one single Caribbean Airlines route is profitable? Not one route is profitable. Yet plane filling up every day, going and coming. Not one single route of Caribbean Airlines is bringing a profit. But we are spending millions of dollars there.
She said no longer will the taxes of ordinary citizens be used to upkeep CAL and the management who receive large salaries while failing at their jobs.
I am giving the management of Caribbean Airlines 2 years max. They have to sort out the mess. Otherwise, everyone there will have to look for a new job. Everyone will have to look for a new job. Your future.
Caribbean Airlines is tonight denying reports that it plans to close down the company. A Sunday Guardian report revealed that the airline approached the finance ministry seeking, amongst other things, a financial bailout. At least 2 directors reportedly believe the airline should be either closed or sold. But CAL says operations continue as normal. In a media release, the airline's board says there's been no discussion about winding up the airline. Instead, it insists the board is actively reviewing operations and working on audited financial statements. Meanwhile, Chief Secretary Farley Augustine says he doesn't share the view that CAL should be closed down. In a WhatsApp message to CNC3 News, Augustine says the THA views CAL as a public transportation service, and as such, the economic benefits far outweigh balancing the finances. He says CAL should be adopting the Copa Airlines model and subsidized into making our 2 major airports a hub between the Caribbean and the rest of the world.
Chairman of the National Gas Company, Gerald
I want to tell you something, When Ms. Visessa made her statement, wasn't during no campaign. Ms. Visessa wasn't campaigning when she made that statement, Ms. Visessa made that statement at a meeting that they had after they win the election, After. And don't dare maybe because I play another clip for you when she tell them that she go bust the head. And I play another clip for you when she telling Selwyn Kucho that PNM don't like black people. It was in the same meeting. So, taking your calls. 464-7003. 464-7003. 464-7003. 464-7003. What are the thoughts? What is your thoughts? I want to hear what you all think. I played the 2 clips to you all. I played the clip from today where they're saying they're not going to close down Caribbean Airlines. Lie. But I also play for you where the Prime Minister say after 2 years, if Caribbean Airlines is not profitable, they will have to the workers at Caribbean Airlines will have to look for a job. What does that mean? Any bright person out there could tell me what that means. And somebody tell you, if my business is not profitable, then you will have to look for a job. What are they telling you? What are they telling you? If somebody is saying to you, hey, if the business is not profitable in 2 years, I will have to close it down. What does that tell you? You tell me. 464-7003. 464-7003. What's your thoughts? What do you think? What do you think? You think they're going to close it down, or you think they're not going to close it down in 2 years' time? Yes or no? Do you think that this government, based on what you hear the Prime Minister say, do you think that Kamala Prasad Bisesa, Ms. Bisesa, SC, MP, will close down Caribbean Airlines, or do you think that it will stay? What do you think? Call me. 464-7003. That's our discussion. That's what we're talking about. That's what we're looking at. We're looking at Ms. Bisesa on a platform telling her supporters that CAL did not give any audit report. And since they haven't given any audit report, they need to turn around. They need to make it profitable in 2 years. And if it's not profitable in 2 years, she is telling the workers that they have to find another job. All of them. What does that mean to you? It mean that she's going to fire all the workers and hire new workers? Does that mean that? Does it mean that? Asking for a friend. 464-7003. Let me see what some people on YouTube are saying. Selling out the airline. Somebody said they're going to sell out the airline. All right. If you believe that, cool. I hear you and I accept what you have to say. I'm taking more views on Constructive Talk. What is your view? Do you think that the Prime Minister intends to close down the airline or rehire new staff? Does it sound like Ms. Bissessa going to hire new staff, or does it sound as though Ms. Bissessa is going to close the airline down? Tell me, what do you think? Close the airline or hire new staff? You want to hear it again? Alright, let me play it again for you.
In Caribbean Airlines, they have 86 people in their financial department. Now guess what? They have spent over $60 million hiring Ernst & Young and Price Waterhouse to conduct audits. 86 people on your staff. Billions and millions being paid out like this. To date, Caribbean Airlines has not submitted an audited financial statement for the last 9 years. Do you know not one single Caribbean Airlines route is profitable? Not one route is profitable. Yet plane filling up every day, going and coming. Not one single route of Caribbean Airlines is bringing a profit. But we are spending millions of dollars there. I am giving the management of Caribbean Airlines 2 years, max. They have to sort out the mess. Otherwise, everyone there will have to look for a new job. Everyone will have to look for a new job. Your future is in your hands. No longer will we accept taxes paid by ordinary citizens, paid by teachers, paid by policemen, small enterprises. We take your money to upkeep CAL, allowing its management to receive large salaries for doing what? Failing in their jobs. Must not continue. Furthermore, my government will not continue to bail out perennially failing state enterprises. The majority of them are failing, spending billions in debt still. This cannot continue. We cannot do business like this.
Is that what the call? Is that the call she talking to? She talking to WASA. She talking to TSTT. She talking to all the enterprise, all the things that we own. The Prime Minister says she not gonna spend no money. But we talking about Carl. Do you all think that the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago will dissolve Carl in 2 years' time? After 2 years, she said that giving him 2 years. 2 years. So a year. Tomorrow will mark a year. Tomorrow, she giving him 2 years. Do you think that the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago will close down Carl? Yes or no? And let me go back up and see. All right, let's take this call. Hello, good evening. Hello, good evening.
Yeah, I don't, that's agreed with you. I don't think she wanted to talk that, when she talked that it didn't have a war going on in Iran, the Strait of Hormuz wasn't blocked, the price of oil wasn't over $100. So she might have to rethink that.
No, but remember You remember, Carl is having issues with fuel gas.
Yes, they want to, and that has nothing to do with the management. That had nothing to do with whoever the management is. If it was Warren Buffett, Jeff Bezos, and Elon Musk, it will still be losing money. Because they have things that Carl had no control over. As I rightly saying there, like I said to you last night, Carl had no control over the price of jet fuel, which is the key driver to keep Carl in the air. You know. Carl have no choice in pricing when market forces dictate and that other competition. Anytime a new airline offering international flights into Trinidad and so on now, right? A new inter-Caribbean airline, I think is a airline based in Barbados, not so? Inter-Caribbean or some kind of thing.
I'll find
they're launching 2 flights a week and all kind of thing. Right? So it's a lot. You see, people could speak things, and I too want to salute the lady caller who said she was her first time caller, right? She was very good. But you see, Pastor, people have to be aware of saying things, and leaders must be able to couch their language in such a way, because you know what I'm saying, right? When RIC was having the consultations in 2024 to speak about the possible increase of TNTech rates, what did the opposition do? What they were told to do, Pastor? They were told to bring out the people and go to these meetings and harass the RIC commissioners. Remember that? There are people in the audience challenging the member of parliament, Rudy Endar, saying, and every time they went to constituencies of UNC supporters, that's what they were doing. And what was the mandate of the RIC? It is to ensure that the rates for utilities are made in a way that could make them sustainable, are raised in a way to make them sustainable. What is the biggest reason why TNTech is in debt? And TNTech is one of the largest debtors to the NGC. How General Landin going to recoup that loss? What the Prime Minister going to tell him? Cut off gas supply from TNTech if they didn't pay? How much they owe in VAT and so on? Does she know that? Does she sit and talk to the Minister of Finance about that? And these are some of the issues that have these state enterprises in the way there is WASA. You talk about TSTT. The government owns 49% shareholding. Is she going to divest all the 49% the government has to Caribbean Wireless, which is a foreign national? And if you do that, and Caribbean Wireless get total control, what are they going to do? They're going to cut jobs, Pastor. She really know what she's saying? You should play that back, you know, for people to understand what she is saying. Because things like telecommunications and so on, these are things that are out of our control. She must tell the country about the DSAL deal that we had to pay until 2034 that they signed in their previous administration, that we had to pay that every year with US currency. That was a cartel of profit because of that money that had to be paid to the DSAL plant, to the owners of the DSAL plant, to the operators, of the DSAL plant. I hear the Minister of Public Utilities saying now 2 more to come on stream and 1 in Tobago. So you know what that mean? We will be in debt with water till Christ come back. That's what that mean. People just listen to these things and understand them, Pastor. I wonder, man.
Oh gosh. Hey.
My brother, it's not easy, but play back what she said there so people understand what that lady's saying. especially for the people who voted for them, because it would mean that all your jobs will be lost. That's what she's saying. She's saying that. I have no problem paying only on the bread line.
But she said, I'm wasting no money. I'm wasting no money because I'm productive. But she said it to Carl. She said,
and she said to the rest of them too. I want them to understand. Play it back, Pastor. Pastor, I don't believe. I wish I could have played slow down slow motion.
I can't do that. I can't do
that. Play it back for them now, Pastor. Don't take my word for it. Play it back for them.
I will play it back
for them, Pastor.
I will play it
Do
back.
that before you go. Play it back.
I will play it back.
I think they understand. I ain't clear. Heads will be rolling. And heads will roll from management alone. People understand that, Pastor? The nice smiling tanty. Everybody will win. Everybody will win.
They don't call she tanty, just call she mother.
Yes, I just call she tanty. I'm calling she no mother. My mother was I know your mother is a loving, peaceful woman. My mother was loving and peaceful. God rest her soul. Tanty is what she is. Tanty. Take care, Pastor. You have to hear the comic reliefs. I like you laughing. I don't like your phone. I like you laughing. I want you to be laughing. Yeah. Have a good night. Take care.
Thank you, yeah, man.
The UNC's National Economic Transformation Master Plan 2020 to 2025. This is Kamala's plan. As soon as we highlighted that they're going to devalue the dollar, if you go on their website today, they have taken it down because they are dishonest and all they seek to do is mislead Trinidad and Tobago.
Based on further investigations, Young also claimed that the UNC's plan includes selling state assets. He emphasized that these assets are critical to the government's ability to provide employment for citizens.
National Gas, NLCB, National Quarries, NP, MTS, Caribbean Airlines, NEDCO, TTT, T&Tech, WASA, E-Tech, Lake Asphalt, the port. Those are the UNC's plans. And watch and see how they try to distance themselves. Trinidad and Tobago, you are being cautioned and advised.
He cautioned the citizens about their choices ahead of the election, maintaining that if the UNC is elected, the country could face dire consequences.
Next week, Monday, if you take God out of your thoughts and you decide not to go and vote, and you decide not to vote for red, ready, and responsible PNM government, that, in addition to a devaluation of 15-1, in addition to the IMF reaching here within a year, will be what we will have to deal with.
Joshua Dan, Tobago Updates, Television News.
Since we are still in a tight financial spot, I would also urge that they consider the divestments or sale of certain state assets or state entities, because the proceeds from these sales will help to meet state spending without necessarily putting extra pressure on the debt levels. Plus, some of these entities and assets soak up a lot of much needed state finances each year through transfers, and these same state funds could be repurposed to more productive avenues.
With food security remaining a key area to be addressed, Dr. Arjun had this advice.
A clear plan could also be presented to lower the food import bill. This is something that I expect to see and to revamp, in order to revamp the agricultural sector through introducing, for example, smart agricultural technologies and practices locally that can optimize the agricultural production per acreage. Again, in line with the diversification thrust and reducing the dependency on food import.
Caribbean Airlines is tonight denying reports that it plans to close down the company. A Sunday Guardian report revealed that the airline approached the finance ministry seeking, amongst other things, a financial bailout. At least two directors reportedly believe the airline should be either closed or sold. But CAL says operations continue as normal. In a media release, the airline's board says there's been no discussion about winding up the airline. Instead, it insists the board is actively reviewing operations and working on audited financial statements. Meanwhile, Chief Secretary Farley Augustine says he doesn't share the view that CAL should be closed down. In a WhatsApp message to CNC3 News, Augustine says the THA views CAL as a public transportation service, and as such, the economic benefits far outweigh balancing the finances. He says CAL should be adopting the Copa Airlines model and subsidized into making our two major airports a hub between the Caribbean and the rest of the world.
Chairman of the National Gas Company, Gerald...
In Caribbean Airlines, they have 86 people in their financial department. Now guess what? They have spent over $60 million hiring Ernst & Young and Price Waterhouse to conduct audits. 86 people on your staff. Billions and millions being paid out like this. To date, Caribbean Airlines has not submitted an audited financial statement for the last 9 years. Do you know not one single Caribbean Airlines route is profitable? Not one route is profitable. Yet plane filling up every day, going and coming. Not one single route of Caribbean Airlines is bringing a profit. But we are spending millions of dollars there. I am giving the management of Caribbean Airlines 2 years max. They have to sort out the mess. Otherwise, everyone there will have to look for a new job. Everyone will have to look for a new job. Your future is in your hands. No longer will we accept taxes paid by ordinary citizens, paid by teachers, paid by policemen, small enterprises. We take your money to upkeep CAL, allowing its management to receive large salaries for doing what? Failing in their jobs. Must not continue. Furthermore, my government will not continue to bail out perennially failing state enterprises. The majority of them are failing, spending billions in debt still. This cannot continue. We cannot do business like this.
There's something that bothers me. When the Prime Minister made those statements, people clap and read. You know why they clap and they read? Because none of them work in Caribbean Airlines. When she said state enterprises, somebody blew a horn. It says to me that people are not genuinely concerned, you know. People are not genuinely worried, you know. Once they don't touch me, I good. That's how I felt when I heard the people clap when Miss Bissessa said she gonna send home the people from CAL. I'll take some more calls. I'll take 2 or 3 more calls before we close off. 3 or 4 more calls before we close. So I'm taking your calls now. 464-7003. 464-7003. 464-7003. Coming soon to Constructive Talk Network, Critical Thinkers. It's a youth show with a youth perspective on current affairs and issues in Trinidad and Tobago. Critical Thinkers, youth perspective on Constructive Talk. So it's coming soon, right? Constructive Talk, the youth Critical Thinkers. The youth arm of Constructive Talk. Those youths Sunday are having a soft launch. A soft launch coming up very, very soon. Hello, good evening. Hello, good evening. Alright, so you are reconnecting. I don't know where you're calling me from. Or you're calling me from a foreign country. Alright, so while you're reconnecting, yep, so those youths they are planning a soft launch. So you're going to be hearing from them, you're going to see them, you're going to hear from them. And they're going to be having guests on with them. Alright, they're going to be having guests, physical guests with them. Not like me having people on the phone. Hello, good evening. I don't know what's happening with your internet. Wherever you are, your internet is terrible. You can send me a voice note if you wish. Caller, you can send me a voice note if you wish. So caller, what I think you should do is send me a voice note because you're not getting through on the phone. So what you can do is send me a voice note. Alright, caller, send a voice note. Alright, so caller, if you're hearing me, I'm sending you a voice note to tell you that you can send a voice note into 464-703-003. Alright, send a voice note. We will listen to the voice note and we'll play the voice note. Yes, so those young people are coming on. They're having as I said before, they're having a nice soft launch. They're going to invite their friends, the young friends, whoever. And they're going to have a soft launch where they're going to be, getting themselves all prepared for critical thinkers on Constructive Talk. Critical thinkers. Yeah, but I just love the name. Trust me, I love the name.
Pastor Google, what's the funny thing about that video you just played it when the Prime Minister threatening Carl? She had already fired all the management and them who was there, who she was threatening. So all the management in Carl right now is new people who they brought in. So I hope the people who was blowing the horn and clapping know that it's falling in their garden now.
Very interesting. Very, very interesting. Very interesting perspective there. Well, let's see how it goes because you're hearing what's going on with Carl. Nothing ain't changed. With her new management, nothing hasn't changed. Alright? Nothing haven't changed. Anybody else want to call in and share your views quickly? 464-7003. Anybody else? I'm here from Brian this evening. I hope all is well. I've heard from who again? I haven't heard from a lot of people this evening. But apart from that, we got new callers. Which is a plus, which says something. I'm always happy to have new callers, new listeners. So if you think, if you thought that the show was good this evening, put some thumbs up. Put some thumbs up. Again, let me thank all of you for being on with me this evening on Constructive Talk. Tomorrow, please God, we're going to have the chairman of the Tunapuna Regional Corporation with me, Mr. Josiah Austin. Plus, my dad is going to be joining me also. So we're going to have Mr. Josiah Austin and my dad with me on. And we're going to be talking about Tunapuna and what's going on in Tunapuna. What is going on in Tunapuna? Hello, good evening.
Good evening, Pastor Google.
Good evening, sir.
If I come on, the new callers wouldn't get an opportunity, so I'm giving everybody an opportunity so I can hear what their contributions are. Sometimes it's interesting to sit and listen,
Yeah.
So I'm sitting and I'm listening to the new callers and even some of the regular callers. I have my views, yes, but sometimes, it's good to listen to the views of others and compare with how you are thinking. Or how I am thinking. But I listen to you, as I said, all the time, so have no fear. I am listening. Have a good evening.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much. All right, so we just heard Mr. Bryan. All right, again, I want to thank all of the first-time callers. Please don't be a stranger. Please don't be a stranger to the network. All right. Also, yes, I was saying to you. All right. Final caller. Hello, good evening. Hello, good evening.
Good afternoon.
Hi, good evening, caller.
Pastor Google?
Yes, sir. You need to load down the television or whatever you're listening to me on. There's a delay.
Yes, as I was saying, this is the reason why I love my character. Pastor Google?
Yes, sir.
Yes, this is why I love my character. Last year's Monarch say what he said this year is the truth, and I just call him young Maestro, like Maestro in reincarnation. The lady that sang Africans for Sale. As a matter of fact, Maestro said what he had was to say, that we don't know what we want. And this is what go on between last year election to now. There's no going on now. You understand? I am saying there's a calypso from 1980. After that, he sang a song, he said, freeness, freeness, freeness. Everybody like freeness, freeness. He said, play your own care. Freeness course say, we're real there, and that is what happening right now with we. Trust me, that is what happening right now. And I very scared about what is going on with. You see, after telling you all this stupidness, they're telling you you can't see this, well, this is what going on. They ain't telling you in full. But when they tell you this and that, you can't talk this and you can't say this and you can't say that. Freeness, freeness. Everybody like freeness, freeness. I will always remember that song from 1980. I was trying to get that song. Last man I talked to about that song was in Shogwana Sabong Sabat. So I was singing a song, African. Raise your head, Mr. African, raise your head. That fella, the fella who sing freeness, is from up the island. I would like to get to hear that song and let people understand what freeness is about. That is the payment for freeness. After Dr. Rowley and them done talk to people, they thought it was a joke, they seen it now. I remember I belong to a steel band. Around the steel band and band, I was saying, you don't make nobody nothing. Come on, them go give it. You see what I give them? CPAP, gone. All with them small little piece of money that they used to get when the fortnight up, all of them gone. And these are the people who are behind them. 2010 to 2015, nearly every fortnight or week or month, they used to have a party. Bus coming and meet them. Yeah? The other I put on the radio and hearing talking about I should talk as if we could hardly talk about how we let go.
name in my mouth right now. Kingsley. Kingsley have a program on the radio. I said, nah, I ain't listening that radio. Let them. The only time I listen to the radio is on a Sunday when short pants on, because I love my calypso. Yeah? I stay TNT right through. These people don't really like nobody. But all they get lost, they had from 10 to 15. You come back and let the same nonsense happen. I always hear what people tell you. Half a bread is better than nothing. And if your Prime Minister telling you what's going on, you still understand what's happening. You're living, you ain't dead.
All right.
So, Pastor Google, have a beautiful night. And thanks for listening to me.
You're welcome, man. Thank you very much for calling. All right, so I want to say thank you again to all of you for joining me on Constructive Talk. I would have placed something in the chat for those of you who are so inclined to help the program to stay on the air. We realizing that we are now incorporating the young people in our program, so we're asking you guys to come on, be a part of it, be a part of maintaining the program on YouTube. So we have placed into the chat, we have placed the information for you to make your contributions. Thank you all very much again for being a part of Constructive Talk this evening. Talk to you guys tomorrow, please God, where we have the chairman of the Tunapuna Regional Corporation, Mr. Josiah Austin, with my father, Dave McKenzie. And yeah, just remember also we have the young people who's going to be joining us platform very, very soon. Have a good evening, everyone.
Coming soon to Constructive Talk Network, Critical Thinkers. It's a youth show with a youth perspective on current affairs and issues in Trinidad and Tobago. Critical Thinkers, youth perspective on Constructive Talk.
The information provided by the speakers and or presenter on Facebook and YouTube is for general informational purposes only. All information is provided in good faith. However, Constructive Talk makes no representation or warranty of any kind, express or implied, regarding the accuracy, adequacy, validity, reliability, availability, or completeness of this information.
Coming soon to Constructive Talk Network, Critical Thinkers. It's a youth show with a youth perspective on current affairs and issues in Trinidad and Tobago. Critical Thinkers, youth perspective on Constructive Talk.